of the Representative Ogun West. I stand to move for adoption of vote of thanks proceeding Wednesday, the 9th May 2018. I so move.
Senator Rose Oko.
My name is Rose Oko, Cross River North. I second the motion that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, the 9th of May, 2018 be adopted. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 9th May, 2018 be hereby approved, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 9th May 2018 is hereby approved. Announcement. On Saturday, 12th of May, was the birthday of our own Deputy Senate President, His Excellency the Student Senator K. Kirimado. On behalf of all of us, colleagues, we wish you many happy birthday, many more fruitful years in service and in good health. Thank you. Leader of the Senate. Yes, point of order, Senator Deozu.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President and fellow colleagues. My order is Order 42, matter of urgent public importance. With a kind permission.
Go ahead. Your mic.
The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before the commencement of this sitting. Mr. President, I was in your office this morning to intimate you of the issue concerning the evasion of the High Court of Rivers State. If you grant me the opportunity, I would love to request that you allow us to bring a substantive motion on the matter tomorrow.
Distinguished colleagues, Senator just did mention to me on I need the leave of the Senate that we do take the motion next legislative day. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Point of order, Senator Tinubu.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I rise under Order 42 and 52. Can I read? The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied with that the matter is definite and urgent. 52. Notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators present. This morning I was in your office to discuss what has been in the news for just recently in what happened in the Democratic Republic of Congo about the Ebola outbreak and the concern by the World Health Organization and the position in which Nigerians are that we travel very often. And I discussed with you and you said if I could bring the motion here.
Distinguished colleagues, Senator Remi Tinubu did mention this matter and in line with our rules. I need your leave so that we can take this motion. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Tinubu.
Thank you, Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues. The motion on Ebola virus disease outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo and the need to take precautionary measures. And the Senate recalls with great distress that an infected immigrant, Patrick Sawyer, who arrived in Nigeria on the 23rd July, was the index case of the Ebola virus disease in Nigeria. with varying symptoms ranging from the fever to diarrhea. There were a total of 869 contacts and 20 laboratory confirmed cases were recorded. The Senate is reminded that the tide was stemmed by quick response of the Nigerian government via declaration of a national emergency, collaboration of the federal and state ministries of health, use of incident management approach, identification and follow-up contacts. Senate is saddened that in spite of quick measures taken, the epidemic claimed 8 lives, including those of medical personnel who put their lives at risk to contain the disease. Senate is disturbed that recent reports of media outlets and the World Health Organization show that the disease is back in neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo, with 19 dead and 39 infected casualties recorded so far. Senate is further reminded that the DRC is 435 kilometers by air from Abuja, is easily accessible via a flight from Lagos that takes less than 3 hours. Senate notes also the report of the World Health Organization stating that Nigeria and other African countries are at modest risk of spread. Senate is worried that unless we prepare our hospitals properly equipped with the Ebola vaccine where necessary, this is an epidemic we might be unable to take on and will only cause untold hardship. Senate is further worried that if we do nothing, given our population, we may well be on our way to creating a global situation. Senate accordingly resolves to 1. Urge the Minister of Interior to take necessary steps to check immigration. 2. Urge the Minister of Health to ensure alertness to combat whatever cases may arise and get the Ebola vaccine ready for an emergency. 3. Urge Nigerians who travel to other African countries to ensure utmost level of care to avoid getting infected. Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues. Thank you for allowing me to move this motion in such a short notice.
Yes, Senator Ume.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent the people of Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second this motion moved by distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu on the issue of Ebola. Mr. President, this motion is in all fours with the statement that prevention is better than cure. Prevention is better than cure. Ebola virus had dealt very terrible blow on this country some time ago, where we had to lose a medical doctor and some other medical personnel when they dealt with the immigrants from Liberia. With the outbreak of Ebola in Democratic Republic of Congo, we've seen how lives are being lost in that country. And DRC being a country in Africa with relationship with Nigeria in various aspects, it is important that we take this motion very seriously to ensure that Nigeria is not taken unawares again. Any contact with anybody from the Democratic Republic of Congo by any Nigerian, either by somebody visiting Nigeria from that place, if we are unlucky and somebody who is afflicted with the Ebola virus, it will open another floodgate of deaths in this country, which we cannot afford. So I believe that Senator Tinubu had done very well by raising this alarm and putting our various agencies on notice for us to prepare, including immigration officials, people who work at the border, whether at the airports or land borders, should be on the lookout for people traveling to Nigeria, particularly from any East African country. From any East African country, not only Democratic Republic of Congo, because that's a region now. Anybody coming to this country should be thoroughly checked by our team to ensure that they are free from Ebola virus. So this is the best way to deal with this matter, in line with the maxim that prevention is better than cure. So I wholeheartedly support this motion brought to this chamber by distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu for us to be at alert and for us not to be taken unawares. So I so support, Mr.
Distinguished colleagues, Senator James Manager.
Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, James Manager, Delta South. Mr. President, this is a motion that is very important for all Nigerians. It's a call for people to be alert. It's a call for everybody to be alert. Ebola, we all know how dreaded the disease of Ebola is all about. And I want to sincerely thank Senator Tinubu for drawing attention of the Senate and by extension the entire country to what is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Mr. President, because our borders are very porous, and it's not easy to control.
Order.
It's not easy to control.
Senator Nkui.
Order.
Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, I think it's important for us to pay attention to this particular motion brought by Senator Tinubu. While you are here, you have your constituents, your brothers and sisters, your families elsewhere. And Ebola is very, very dangerous disease. We had it a few years ago, about 2013, 2014. We had it. And it was very, very dangerous. The entire nation was in trouble because it was spreading like wildfire from one state to another and killing people just like that. So when it was reported that this is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo again, believe you me, everybody, including my humble self, I was visibly worried. And what is important, Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, alertness. Nigerians must be very, very alert. Prevention, they say, is far better than cure. Health authorities in this country, the Honorable Minister of Health, and the entire health family, those who are managing the health of this country, must be alert to protect all Nigerians, because this disease does not know who is who. And you remember how it came into this country. So I am surprised that it is still a problem to Democratic Republic of Congo. And everything humanly possible must be done for it not to spread to this country.
Order.
And for the entire world, I think there is a vaccine for it. And it must be tested very quickly in that part of the world. The Democratic Republic of Congo is a country in Nigeria, in Africa. And there are human beings that are dying. So the World Health Organization must test that particular vaccine and see whether it will work. And if it works, then it must be applied to those who are afflicted with it in the Democratic Republic of Congo, so that this particular very dreadful disease will not spread beyond Congo. It will not spread beyond the areas that are afflicted, even inside Congo. Mr. President, this is a wake-up call. It's a call for everybody to be alert. Something has to be done for this thing never to spread to this country again. Never again must we see Ebola. Ebola in my language means come and see me. Ebola. It's a very dangerous. Come and see me. Come. Ebola, come. So that is what it means. And therefore, we don't want you to come, Ebola. Stay where you are. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Distinguished colleagues, let's go to the prayers. Prayer 1, urge the Minister of Interior to take necessary steps to check immigration. Those in favor say aye. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, urge the Minister of Health to ensure alertness to combat diseases, whatever cases may arise, and get the Ebola vaccine ready for an emergency. Those in favor of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, urge Nigerians who travel to other African countries to ensure utmost level of care to avoid getting infected. Those in favor of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any other prayer? Additional prayer, Chief Whip.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, while thanking Senator Tinubu for bringing this motion, we must remind ourselves that as we speak right now, many health workers in our republic are on strike. And should there be the introduction of this viral problem into our country, we won't even have the health workers to attend to it. So I think because of the possibility of such a crisis, we must urge an immediate intervention in this long-lasting industrial action so that we will have the workers, God forbid, to attend to whatever health problem may arise in our republic. That's my first additional prayer. I have another one. Okay, that we should intervene, that the Senate should ask for a quick resolution to the ongoing crisis by health workers in many of Nigerian public hospitals. Yeah, that's my first prayer. I have another one.
Seconding this additional prayer. Anybody? Or you want to propose and second? Deputy Leader.
Well, I'm seconding this amendment by reason of proximity. I saw second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the additional prayer that the Senate should ask for a quick resolution to the ongoing crisis involving health workers in many of our hospitals. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, Chief Whip, second additional prayer.
Thank you, sir. My second prayer is that when Ebola comes in, God forbid, not to Nigeria, to some God-forsaken out-of-space country. When it comes there, by the time you know, it's too late. So the time now to begin to screen travelers into Nigeria, especially those from East Africa, is now. The kind of measures we took when Ebola first came to Nigeria a few years ago, I believe we should put in place immediately at our airports and points of entry to screen those who are coming in from East Africa. Thank you.
To repeat the prayer.
My additional prayer is that because of this danger, our points of entry should put in place a screening measure for travelers from Central and East Africa.
But the first prayer already addresses that now. No. The first prayer asking the Minister of Interior. All right. Let me thank Senator Tinubu for that motion, and I think the general conclusion is that we need to be on the alert and ensure that all steps are taken to prevent any similar unfortunate occurrence in the country as happened the last time. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, did you announce the birthday of...
I did. But you can wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah, I was thinking he deserves more than just mention. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, my neighbor, my boss. And Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on a very serious note, I want to say that this is a congratulation to excellence, a congratulation to commitment and dedication and devotion. Mr. President, our brother here, as far as I can remember, is the longest serving presiding officer in the National Assembly. Sorry? I don't know about that because I'm not PDP and I've never been and I will never be. But I know, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, that Senator Ike Ekweremadu has been a very loyal and committed Deputy President of the Senate. First, to the Senate President, then Senator David Mark. He excelled in filling the gap. Whenever there was need for him to come in and preside, all of us in the 6th and the 7th Senate, and in fact, in this current Senate, we have to look for our helmets because definitely skills of speed will come into play. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, we members of the National Assembly, we the legislators, the parliamentarians, are the ones to make the parliament and the legislature worthy of its name and be respected. We can do that through committing ourselves to our work. And we have a very good example in the Deputy President of the Senate who has done that for so many years. So on behalf of myself, even though without consulting my colleagues here, I'm sure all the senators here are with me on this. Yes. That we pray for many more turns and returns this day. And of course, I will not miss the opportunity to urge Senator Ike to see through the mists, this woolly environment, and take the right decision. You are an asset. Don't stay and rot away or waste away. I am inviting you. I am inviting you to consider joining the numerous leaders and elders of the Southeast who have understood that Nigeria Nigeria needs the commitment. Nigeria needs the commitment. Nigeria needs the commitment of people like you, leaders like you, Nigeria needs the unity of everybody to make it better for the masses of this country. We need stability, and I want to say clearly and assert that you are going to fit in perfectly well. 2023 is there for the taking. So you better make hay while the sun shines. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very
Mr. President, the first business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the School of Mines and Geological Studies, Akoko Edo State, Establishment, etc. Bill 2018. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, School of Mines and Geological Studies, Akoko Edo State, Establishment, etc. Bill 2018, HB 105, first reading.
School of Mines and Geological Studies, Akoko Edo State, Establishment, etc. Bill 2018, HB 105, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is also the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the National Institute of Credit Administration, Establishment, etc. Bill 2018. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Institute of Credit Administration, Establishment, etc. Bill 2018, HB 425, first reading.
National Institute of Credit Administration, Establishment, etc. Bill 2018, HB 425, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Emmanuel Polka on the value-added tax cap V1 LFN 2004 Amendment Bill 2018. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, value-added tax cap V1 LFN 2004 Amendment Bill 2018, SB 676, first reading.
Value-added tax cap V1 LFN 2004 Amendment Bill 2018, SB 676, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Obin Naugba on the Lottery Act Amendment Bill 2018. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Lottery Act Amendment Bill 2018, SB 678, first reading.
Lottery Act Amendment Bill 2018, SB 678, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator David Umaru on the FCT Area Courts Act 2010, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2018. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, FCT Area Courts Act 2010, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2018, SB 679, first reading.
FCT Area Court Act 2010, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2018, SB 679, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of the report of the Committee on Appropriation on the 2018 Appropriation Bill. Mr. President, You may wish to invite Senator Danjuma Goje, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the Senate to receive the report.
Senator Danjuma Goje.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Mohammed Danjuma Goje, representing the Central. I want to move that the Senate do receive the report of the Committee on Appropriations on the 2018 Appropriation Bill. I so move.
Senator Matthew Rogide, Edo South.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Senator Matthew Rogide. I represent the group people of Edo South Central District. I rise, Mr. President, to support the motion ably moved by Senator Danjuma Goje that the Senate do receive the report of the Committee on Appropriations on the 2018 Appropriation Bill, SB 575. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do receive the report of the Committee on Appropriation of the 2018 Appropriation Bill, SB 575. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Daniel Goje, kindly come and lay the report. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is a motion standing in the name of Senator Ahmed Ogembe on the urgent call for the speedy resuscitation of the Osara Ekuku dams in Kogi Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Ahmed Ogembe to move the motion.
Senator Ogembe.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Ahmed Ogembe. I represent Kogi Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, this motion is for the urgent call for speedy resuscitation of Osara Ekuku Dam in Kogi Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, the Senate notes that Osara Dam and Ekuku Dam are both situated in Kogi Central Senatorial District, while Osara Dam is the largest source of water in Kogi State and Ekuku Dam is the second largest. The Senate further notes that Osara Dam was first conceived in 1995 under the Ibrahim Babangida administration as part of the country public irrigation sector scheme. The dam was meant to serve a dual purpose, firstly for irrigated crop production and secondly for safe drinking water system. The Senate is aware that the development of the dam under the Greater Lokoja project in 1995 to produce tens of millions of gallons of water per day was contracted to a construction company at the cost of 10 billion naira, with the aim of supplying potable drinking water to the whole Kogi state and its environs. So the Senate further aware that the construction of Osara Dam is a strategic component in the development of Nigerian iron, oil, and steel projects in Itape and Ajaokuta, as the Osara Dam site is situated about 6 kilometers north of National Iron Ore Mining Company, Itape, and it's accessible through the Lokoja-Okene Highway. The Senate is worried that the construction work and the development of the necessary infrastructure for Osara Dam to effectively function as an irrigation project and water supply scheme was truncated. The Senate further worried that the abandonment of this laudable project impact negatively on the social economic life of not just the people of Kogi Central Senatorial District, but the entire Kogi State and indeed the whole country. Kogi State being a gateway between northern and southern Nigeria, the possibility of outbreak of disease due to water crisis cannot be overruled. The Senate recognizes that Kogi State is geographically located in the heart of Nigeria. The state is well blessed with water resources, being the host of the confluence, the meeting point of two great rivers, River Benue and River Niger. Despite this natural advantage, the lack of potable drinking water supply accurately rhymes with anonymous seal of distress cry. Water, water everywhere, but not a single drop to drink. This perfectly describes the potable water supply situation in Kogi State. The Senate knows that the economic and social values that will accrue from the completion of Osara Dam and Ikuku Dam can not be overemphasized. The irrigation project will immensely boost the agricultural sector, and Nigeria will spend less on the importation of products it can locally produce. Socially, the resuscitation of this dam will not only provide potable drinking water, but will have a multiplying effect on the employment generation, creation of jobs, reduction of social vices such as kidnapping. The Senate accordingly resolved, Mr. President, mandate the Senate Committee on Water Resources to liaise with Federal Ministry of Water Resources to make budgetary provision for the completion of Osara Dam. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise up to support this very important motion. Even though the one and only prayer has been overtaken by the last event of laying the budget. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, today, after 3 years of the APC administration, agriculture has gotten and taken its rightful place. We produce what we eat, especially rice importation has been cut by over 90%, and by next year, we will stop importing rice. Actually, we will start exporting the commodity to other countries. Mr. President, many commodities or agricultural crops are produced across the country in different parts, from Bayelsa to Kebbi, from Lagos to Borno, and so on and so forth. These efforts have shown that Nigeria can not only feed itself, but also earn very valuable foreign exchange from the exports of agricultural products. Mr. President, this dam is an important input into this process. I will therefore assert that if we want more jobs to be created in that senatorial district, more jobs to be created in Kogi State, and create more wealth, then we have to do something for this dam to be resuscitated. However, my fear is the 2018 budget has just been laid, and therefore the prayer that the funding should be included in the budget may be belated. However, the Ministry of Water Resources, and in fact the federal government, could still find some funding source within the federal system. Perhaps some international agencies also coming to give us some respite. So I support this motion, and we should push it. Our Committee on Water Resources should ensure that this issue remains remains important and attract the attention and the support of the ministry. It's something we can do. We have the mandate to ensure that they only not go after those projects that have been captured in the budget, especially theirs, but also any other budget item that we think can make Nigeria better. With this, Mr. President, I support this motion moved by my friend and my brother, co-guide, very distinguished Senator Ahmed Ogembe. I so support. Thank you very much, sir.
Senator Kurfi.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues. My name remains Senator Umar Ibrahim Kurfi, representing the good people of Katsina Center. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, this is a very, very important motion. For those of us who enjoyed the benefit of dams, will always encourage the distribution of dams. Kano Dam, which is the Tiga Dam, which was constructed by late Governor Audu, everybody is enjoying it. Mr. President, that dam, if you see what people are making there, you will be surprised. Most of the young people now, they are not even go to school because they are very busy. Because they produce wheat, rice, potato, pepper, and tomato. So these dams, as we see, there are a lot of things which we can grow. Crop production is concerned. And secondly, Mr. President, they put a lot of water. Most of the water people drink around that area in Kano from that dam. So that dam kept so many people busy. Because those of us who are from Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, we know they come every weekend and buy our food stuff there. So dams are very important. I will therefore support that these dams should be encouraged, and I want everybody in this chamber to support the construction of more dams because dams are important to everybody. I so submit, sir.
Listen, colleague, I think the prayer that says mandate Senate come to liaise with Federal Minister to make budget provision has been overtaken by events. So an amendment.
I agree with you that it appears to have been overtaken by events, but because of the importance of dam to both food and water security, I think we'll find a way of saving this motion. I therefore propose an amendment to mandate the Senate Committee on Water Resources to liaise with the Federal Minister of Water Resources to ensure early completion of the Osara Dam.
Seconded to the amendment. Yes, Chief Whip.
I rise, Mr. President, my colleagues, to second the very astute amendment which the DSP has made, again lending us the benefit of his prodigious experience.
Those in favor of the amendment, that is mandate the Senate Committee on Water Resources to liaise with the Federal Minister of Water Resources to ensure the early completion of the Osara Dam project. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, on request by the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund, that we stand down the consideration of the consideration of this conference committee report to allow the Senate and the House committees to resolve certain very important issues. Therefore, I move that we stand down this report till another legislative day.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we do stand down this bill to another legislative day to enable the conference committee meet so that they can resolve the gray areas. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that we do stand down this item to allow the two committees to have further legislative work on this item. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, Very distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the consideration of the Conference Committee report on the Chartered Institute of Capital Market Registrars Establishment, etc. Bill 2018. Distinguished senators will recall that the Senate and the House passed different versions of the Chartered Institute of Capital Market Registrars Establishment, etc. Bill 2018. The Conference Committee of both houses have met and harmonized the differences in accordance with the Senate Standing Order 87. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Foster Ogola to move the motion for the Senate to consider the conference report.
Senator Foster.
The Senate do consider the report of the Conference Committee on the Chartered Institute of Capital Market Registrars Establishment, etc. Bill 2018, SB 25, stroke HB 79. I so move. They cannot turn it on. They cannot turn it on.
Senator Barao Jibril.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Senator Barao Jibril. I stand to second the motion ably moved by Senator Foster Ogola that the Senate do consider the Conference Committee report on the Chartered Institute of Capital Market Registrars Establishment ETC Bill 2018 SB 25 HB 79. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do consider the Conference Committee report on Chartered Institute of Capital Market Registrars Establishment, etc. Bill 2018 SB 28 HB 79. Those in favor will consider the report say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So Foster Ogola, present your report.
Mr. President, the Chartered Institute of Capital Market Registered Establishment Bill 2017 SB 25 was passed by the Senate on 20th July 2017 and the House of Representatives on 4th of April 2017. However, some differences were identified in some sections of the bill as passed by both houses. To this effect, the conference committees were consulted in both houses to identify, examine, reconcile, and harmonize the differences of both versions. The Senate Conference Committee on the Chartered Institute of Capital Market Registrar Bill 2017 SB 25 was consulted by the Senate on Wednesday, 11th October. 6 members of the Senate were nominated and 6 also from the House. The mandate of the committee, the Conference Committee was mandated to identify and harmonize areas of differences in the bill as passed by both houses for further legislative action. Highlights of the bill and the differences were the title of the bill, and in consideration of the differences, title of the bill, the House version was adopted. This is because it is simpler. Clause 2, the House version split into 2 the functions and objectives as clearly stated in the bill, so the House version was adopted for that reason. Clause 3, for the purpose of clarity and reference with regards to membership, Clause 3 in the Senate version is named Clause 2 in the House version, with more emphasis on membership. Therefore, the House version was equally adopted. Clause 4.3, the constitution of the Governing Council. The Senate version omitted the second vice president. Therefore, the House version was adopted. 5.5, Clause 6, the Senate version, Clause 6.1 is renamed Clause 5.1 in the House version and is more elaborate, so the House version was adopted for purpose of clarity. Clause 8, 3B, The House version was adopted for clarity purpose. Part 5, establishment of investigation panel and disciplinary tribunal. House version was adopted. Clause 14.1, the House version was adopted for clarity purpose. Clause 21.6, the Senate version is clearer and as such was adopted. Interpretation, the Senate version was adopted for clarity purpose. First schedule, General Meeting of the Institute. The Senate version did not make provision for the meeting of the Institute, so the House version was adopted to give room for clarity of purpose. Second schedule, transfer of properties. The House version was adopted. Explanatory memorandum. The House version did not have an explanatory memorandum. Therefore, the Senate version was adopted. Methodology summary of legislative action. The committee, having critically examined the areas of differences as passed by both chambers, resolved to adopt the long title, Clause 1.2, Clause 3, Clause 4.3, Clause 5.1, Clause 8.3b, Part 5, Clause 14.1 of the House version, and 3 clauses from the Senate version as itemized here below and attached herewith. Clause 226, interpretation and explanatory memorandum. Recommendation. After an exhaustive deliberation on the provisions of the differences in the 2 versions of the bill, the conference committee recommends the adoption of the House version except 2 clauses of the Senate version as enumerated above. The Senate conference committee therefore recommends the adoption and passage of the harmonized version of the bill as attached here. Conclusion. The conference committee wishes to express its profound gratitude to the leadership of the Senate for the opportunity to serve at this level. We implore you to hasten the passage of this bill for onward transmission to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you. Signed by the appropriate officers.
Is there any comments? If not, I'll put the question for those in favor that we accept the recommendation of the committee and adopt the harmonized version. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the consideration of the report of the Committee on Communications on the Nigerian Communications Commission budget proposal for the year ending 31st December 2017. Distinguished senators will recall that the report was laid on Wednesday, the 28th of March 2018. Mr. President, you may wish to invite very distinguished Senator Gilbert Naji to move the motion for the Senate to consider and approve the report.
Senator Gilbert Naji.
Thank you, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Gilbert Emeka Naji, representing Enugu East. Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Communication on Nigeria Communication Commission NCC budget proposal for the year ending 31st December 2017. I so move.
Senator Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I rise to support that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Communications on the Nigerian Communications Commission budget proposal for the year ending 31st December 2017. I so support.
Senator, those in favor that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Communication on the Nigerian Communications budget proposal for the year ending December 2017. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Naji.
Thank you, Mr. President, my very distinguished colleagues. The Nigerian Communication Act is the independent National Regulatory Authority for the Telecommunication Industry in Nigeria. It is statutorily charged with the regulatory and oversight responsibility of the industry. The Commission, operating like a quasi-judicial and legislative body, use its powers to moderate price caps and terms of service, or otherwise resolve issues relating to an individual operator or certain group of operators. The Commission issue licenses to providers of telecommunication products and services and ensure that these products and services are provided to the consumers at a reasonable and affordable rates. Summary of the Nigerian Communication Commission Budget 2017. In accordance with Section 19(1) of Nigerian Communication Act 2003 and Section 21 Schedule of the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007, the Nigerian Communication Commission (NCC) projects income of 204.8 billion naira, out of which the current expenditure is 27 billion naira and capital expenditure is 13.6 billion naira. The sum of 4.4 billion naira is for special projects, while the sum of 13.9 billion naira and 145.7 billion naira will be transferred to the Universal Service Provision Fund (USPF) and the Federal Government of Nigeria, respectively. The summaries of the budget are stated, Mr. President. Let me go to the findings. Okay, the revenue. You can see the revenue profile of the NCC. Licensing fee. But you are asking me, page two. So we have expenditures, we have capital expenditures, and we have special project expenditures. Mr. President. Findings. The management of the Nigerian Communication Commission, led by its Executive Vice Chairman, appeared before the committee to defend the Commission year 2017 budget proposal on Tuesday, February 20th, 2018. After exhaustive deliberation, the Commission observed as follows. The committee observed as follows. 1. The Commission revenue of 204.8 billion naira consists of annual licensing fee, 1.7 billion naira, annual operating levy, 46.4 billion naira, spectrum fee, 122.4 billion naira, non-billing plan, 3.9 billion naira, admin charges, 2.2 billion naira, type approved fee, 214.5 billion naira, investment income, 300 billion naira, and sundry income, 45.5 billion naira. 2. The Commission total expenditure of 204.8 billion naira consists of total recurrent expenditure of 27.0 billion naira, total capital expenditure of 13 billion naira, and total special project 4.4 billion naira. Transfer to the federal government of Nigeria stand at 145.7 billion naira, while transfer to Universal Service Provision Fund is 13.9 billion naira. The Commission total budget revenue and total budgeted expenditure for the year 2017 remain the same at 204.8 billion naira. Recommendations. It is hereby recommended that the sum of 204,800,719,000 naira be approved as the Nigerian Communication Commission year 2017 budget. B, we also recommend that this budget should be allowed to run till 30th of June 2018. Prayers that the Senate do approve the recommendation of the committee. Mr. President, distinguished senators, I so submit.
Senator Hassan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mohammed Hassan, Ibe South Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, going through this report, I would want to suggest that we step down this report in view of so many discrepancies in this report that I've seen. I would want to suggest that we step it down, maybe to the next legislative days, to be able to look at these details, Mr. President. Thank you, sir.
Senator Marafa.
Thank you, Mr. President, my well-respected colleagues. Let me commend my brother and colleague, Senator Gilbert Inaji, for producing this report. But, Mr. President, I want to second the prayer made by my distinguished colleague, Senator Hassan from Yobe, that we step this report down to enable members to go through distance. The monies we are talking about here are too colossal for us to just look at now and pass any good judgment. And especially looking at so many problems with the telecommunication sector, I think we need to give it a closer look to be able to come out with something more reasonable. I so second, Mr. President.
These discrepancies that you are talking about, that you need time, the best, I would like to suggest, if we are going to put that motion, that even if it does pass, you cannot be giving more than 24 hours to whatever. By tomorrow, we must bring this in. Whatever discrepancies, you are going to go and study. Go and study it and... So I'll put the question. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Please, all whatever discrepancies that you want to study, ensure you study, and by tomorrow it must be on the other paper. Thank you. Leader of the Senate. Yes, we'll take the report tomorrow. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, order.
Order, please. Order, please.
Mr. President,
Senator Nkuyi, order, please.
very distinguished colleagues, the fifth order of the day is the consideration of the report of the Committee on Communications on the Universal Service Provision Fund budget proposal for the year ending 31st December 2017. Distinguished senators will recall that the report was laid on Wednesday, the 28th of March 2018. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Gilbert Inaji once again to move the motion for the Senate to consider and approve the report.
Senator Naji.
Thank you, Mr. President. Due to the discrepancies noticed by my colleagues, because this is the same institution, I would like for my colleagues, so that they will go back with the report of the USPF budget to look at it and come up tomorrow with every necessary issue. So I beg to stand down this report.
Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, I feel differently. I have a different opinion. What our colleagues raised were on the first report. As far as we are concerned, we don't know what is here. Let us not presume that what is here is, it can't be the same report.
Distinguished leader, I think since the chairman of the committee on his own has taken the initiative to seek that the report be considered, I think, as they always say, we cannot cry more than the bereaved. So we will accept that and we give him by tomorrow for him to bring that report for consideration on the other paper. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the sixth order of the day is the consideration of the report of the Committee on Trade and Investment on the Companies and Allied Matters Act Cap C-20 Amendment Bill 2018. Distinguished senators will recall that the report of the committee was laid on Wednesday, the 2nd of May 2018. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Sabo Mohammed, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the consideration of the report. Mr. President, Senator Sabo Mohammed is in Jigawa to receive the President, who is on a state visit to Jigawa. In his absence, Senator Yusuf A. Yusuf, who is a member of the committee, will present the report.
Senator Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. This is the report on a bill for an act to amend the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990, Cap C-20 LFN 2004, to provide for the incorporation of companies, registration of business names, together with incorporation of trustees of certain communities, bodies, associations, and incidental matters, SB 355, and a bill for the establishment of State Corporate Affairs Commission for registration of business names and for other matters connected therewith.
Senator Samego.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Sam Egu, I represent Ebola North Central District. Mr. President, I rise to second that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Trade and Investment on the Companies and Allied Matters at Cap C-20 LFN 2004, Bill 2018. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Trade and Investment on Company and Allied Matters Act Cap C-20 LFN 2004, Repeal and Amendment Act Bill 2018 SB 355. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll start with the introductions. On page 1, the Senate at its plenary sitting on Wednesday, 1st March 2018, deliberated on the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990, Cap C-20 LFN 2004, 2018 SB 384, and a bill for an act to amend the Companies and Allied Matters Act Cap C-20 LFN 2004 to provide for the incorporation of companies, registration of business names, together with incorporation of trustees of certain communities, bodies, associations, and incidental matters, SB 355, amendment bills. After exhaustive deliberations, the bills were read for the second time and referred to the Senate Committee on Trade and Investment for further legislative actions. it should be stressed that the two bills, even though were sponsored by different sponsors, seek to amend the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990 with the overall intent of streamlining the act in line with global best practices and to address existing shortcomings experienced in the course of implementing the ex-ante law. It is pertinent to state also that the committee, having observed the similarities of the bills, resolved to harmonize them accordingly. 2. Methodology. The committee adopted the following methodology in the course of its assignment, to wit: 1. Conduct public hearing in order to collect stakeholders' view on the proposed legislation. Page 2. 2. To engage technical advisory committee made up of critical professionals and stakeholders to ensure a more robust deliberation. 3. Considerations of the bill, clause by clause. And 4. Consider any other matter that will assist the committee in the discharge of its functions. 3. Public hearing. In line with the committee's resolution, the public hearing was conducted on Wednesday, 7 February 2018. Stakeholders and members of the public who were present at the hearing made far-reaching and in-depth presentations in support of the bill. In their presentations, they canvassed vigorously the need for the Senate to pass the bill into law because of its laudable objectives. Number 4, legislative summary. For the avoidance of doubt, it is opposite to stress here that two bills with SB 355 and SB 384 seeking to amend the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990 were referred to this committee consecutively. The committee, in the course of its considering them, observed that the two bills deal with the same subject matter, albeit different drafting styles with closely related legislative intents. It is our concerted view, therefore, that the intendment of the bills be harmonized. Mr. President, distinguished senators, I wish to state here that in the course of the public hearing, stakeholders canvassed that since the enactment of the Companies and Allied Matters Act in 1990, a lot of issues have emerged, which require a comprehensive review of the extant Act to encompass innovative trends that will reposition this very important sector of our economy. There is also a consensus among stakeholders that the Act be repealed and reenacted. The committee, therefore, considered the comprehensive amendments sought by the provisions of the bill and the further inputs made on it by stakeholders during the public hearing, and observed that the contemplation to repeal the Extant Act is legislative expedient. Accordingly, the committee resolved to propose the repeal of the Act and reenact it to conform to global best practice. This resolution is within the mandate of the committee in line with the provisions of Order 82 of the Senate Standing Orders 2015 as amended. Furthermore, the proposed reenactment bill has 871 clauses and 15 schedules. The new innovative clauses in the proposed reenactment bill are as follows. A. Chapter 27, Netting Provision, clauses 719 to 722. B. Limited Partnership clauses 796 to 807. And 3. Administrative provisions resolving insolvency, clauses 444 to 550. The repeal of the Act will no doubt address the inherent deficiencies in the existing Act and create a more robust legislative framework to register and regulate businesses and allied matters in Nigeria for the growth of the economy. The passage of the bill will further empower the Corporate Affairs Commission for effectiveness and efficiency. Highlighted below are some of the salient innovative features of the reenactment bill being proposed by the committee for the approval of this distinguished Senate. Number 1, single-member companies. This is the first time a provision such as this has been introduced in Nigeria. The provision makes it possible for a single person to form a private company. This provision is consistent with what is obtainable in several other progressive economies, such as United Kingdom, India, and Singapore. Number 2, limited liability partnerships. A new form of legal entity known as limited liability partnership was introduced in this bill. The essential feature of a limited liability partnership is that it combines the organizational flexibility and tax status of a partnership with limited liability for its members. Number 3, financial assistance. With this provision, companies will now be permitted to provide financial assistance to their shareholders. The current position is that a company and its subsidiaries are prohibited from giving gifts, loans, indemnities, credit, and other assistance for the purpose of aiding a person to purchase the company's shares, where such financial assistance will result in the reduction in the net assets of the company or result in the company having no assets. The proposed bill reflects a market-friendly advancement from the current position. It also provides companies chances of attracting much-needed investment, since there are now provisions in the bill which enable the shareholders or potential shareholders have access to funds within the certain parameters, which in turn enable them to invest in such companies. Number 4, reduction in the share capital. This has been introduced to ease the process of doing business by a process through which a company can reduce its share capital by enabling private companies to reduce share capital of such companies if a special resolution to that effect is passed, without the added burden of applying to court for a confirmation of the reduction. Number 5, resolving insolvency. The bill introduces a company rescue and insolvency legal regime, which is not focused on a company's demise, but on rescuing companies from insolvency through inclusion of an insolvency framework. An effective insolvency regime in Nigeria has a dual aim, such as to save viable businesses and to ensure that non-viable businesses can quickly exit the market, allowing deployment of assets to more productive farms. It will see to the following benefits, such as lower cost of credit, increased access and availability of credit, improved creditor recovery, strengthened job presentation through reorganization and business rescue, promotion of entrepreneurship and other benefits for small businesses. Number 6, company secretary. The provision seeks to further ease the regulatory burden of companies by making provision which limit the requirement to appoint a company secretary to public companies, thereby making it optional for small companies and companies with one shareholder among others. Page 5, recommendation. The Senate Committee on Trade and Investment, having considered this bill and taken into account the laudable objectives of the bill, hereby recommends as follows: that the Senate do consider and pass the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990 repeal and enactment Bill 2018 as proposed. Conclusion. The committee, led by the distinguished Senator Sabo N. Mohammed, would like to use this medium to thank the Senate for giving the members the opportunity to serve this capacity. Thank you.
Any comments? If not, we can go to Senator Lashadra.
The Senate President, distinguished colleagues, from
what has been read to us, a very good job has been done. But to aid the passage of the bill, I would like to make the following comments right away. That the financial assistance, item number 3 of 3, will not be a good idea at all, because business should be done at arm's length. And if you now allow companies to be lending money to the owners to do one thing or the other, you are decreasing the capital base of the company. And you must be very careful so that people who do business with such companies will not be endangered. At the end of the day, if anything is wrong with such companies and they go bust, all those things will be brought into limelight, and I think it is bad recommendation. The other one, sir, is item number 4, reduction in share capital. Again, it's the same principle. If somebody enters into an agreement with you when your share capital is ₦500 million, and when the business is on, you now decided to reduce your base capital by half, I think that is bad for business, and it will not lead to any trust. So those two items should not be considered at all. Thank you.
Yeah, Senator Yusuf, I want your comment on that, because I myself do understand what is the value for encouraging financial assistance to shareholders, and secondly, what again is the value for reduction in share capital, especially in our own environment and prevailing circumstances.
Thank you. The simple idea is, in the other economies, in order to ease businesses or relationship between the shareholders and the companies, is very, very fundamental. The lending is not coming from the capital of the company. The lending is coming from the profitability of the company. So it's not going to deplete the capital in any way. That is for the financial assistance.
Sorry, what is the value? I can understand where it's coming. What extra value does it do in ease of doing business, or in what does it, what value are we bringing to the table? I don't understand.
A shareholder, should be given the opportunity, the privilege, the right to borrow and buy shares of the company. It's happening in America, it's happening in UK.
Yeah, but it should not, that should not be coming from the companies. You can do that. Why must I be able to use the company's money to buy those shares? That's the point I'm asking.
Sir, the advantage is simple. Encouraging the shareholders to have more confidence in the company. Because where you have shareholders, some may have the access because they have the liquidity somewhere. Now, if you have a shareholder who has no liquidity, you must encourage him to build in confidence in that. So because the directors are different from the shareholders, really by law. The shareholders are different, the directors are different. So by giving the shareholder money to borrow does not mean that they are going to compromise or they will be insider trading. No way, especially for a public limited liability company other than a private company. We are talking about public companies who are under capital market, observations, under stock exchange, under so many regulations. So it is going to be a transparent thing under the control of the law. So it's not just going to be a hidden.
What about the reduction in share capital?
What is existing at this point in time, if the company wants to reduce its capital, it has to go to the court to get the court injunction, court approval to do. What we are saying, that one will delay a lot of doing businesses in this country. If for any reason, sir, the company decides to reduce its capital, it is the shareholders' requisite to reduce the capital. It does not have to go to the court. That's what this clause is saying. Such companies, if a special resolution to that effect is passed, without added burden of applying to the court for a confirmation, it is the confirmation of the court that we are talking about here.
Yeah, but in the details, when you say special resolution, does it Is it specified clearly? What that because you need to protect minority shareholders. If the special resolution in any way does not protect minority shareholders, then there could be abuse.
There are laws other than CAC that are protecting the interest.
Is this just for public companies, this provision? I don't think so. It's not for public companies. This new provision is for all companies.
Let me explain this. Even if it's a private company is company that is not is controlled just by the memorandum and articles of association, and not strictly, under the capital market or the stock exchange and the rest of it. So the reduction of that capital, what we are saying that should not be further taken to the company, because it's a private company, maybe two people owning their shares. So why should it, take time to go to the court? In this countryside, there are so many private companies. If we lock them in, we are reducing on a macro scale the volume of that transaction if they want to do that.
Any other questions? If not, let's go to Senator Gemadi.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Barnabas Gemadi. I represent Benue Northeast. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, looking at the new provisions in this act, especially section 579, subsections 1 to 11, in fact to 12, there is a provision here for creation of state corporate affairs commissions for purposes of the registration of company business names. Now, is there any provision somewhere to actually limit the confusion that may arise? Because there's no law governing a business name registration made in one state to operate in another state in the country. And if you have these business names duplicated, registered in different state corporate affairs commissions, you are going to have a serious confusion in the business climate. I believe that the central registration registry, as presented today, covering also business names, is the best for any country. Because once you register a company, whether it's a business name, a private limited liability or public PLC, you are free to operate completely anywhere within the confines of the nation. Therefore, there must be one standard registration. So the creation of state corporate affairs commissions, to my mind, is superfluous and really will cause great confusion in the business climate. So I think either this is completely removed or a provision made so that you can actually guide against this eminent confusion that may arise from the way that these business names will be used in doing business in the country. I so submit, sir.
Senator, let me just take one more comment from you. Yes, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. The issues that have been raised by Senator Alasadura, have really ringed an alarm to me. Because those two areas that provide for checks and balances, and those areas that prevent insider trading, once you touch those things, you are really getting to the heart of the transparency of any business institution. Once you allow a situation where insiders, can get resources and invest or whatever in the company, then you are encouraging graft, and you are encouraging lack of integrity within the system. And then once you oust the jurisdiction of courts of third-party restrictions in a business climate, you are destroying the business climate. Because there is no checks and balances. People will just sit down in their houses, like my friend, an astute businessman, who just inside their houses and really messed up the businesses.
And I also look forward to really pay attention to what Senator Gemad is saying. These are things that we have to be very careful about, Mr. President. And we must make sure that when we go through the bill, those particular sections are really looked into so that we don't really allow people to abuse, the provisions of the this, because karma is a very serious matter. Once we destroy this bill, then the whole issue of the business environment in this country, can really be abused and messed up. Thank you.
Senator Foster Ogola.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I'm Foster Ogola. From the discrepancies here that are very serious, I will suggest and I plead with my colleagues and the members of the committee that this report be withdrawn and recrafted. Because
I think you were late. You were not here at the beginning of the session. That's why you're coming under that. We have gone past that. We have gone past that, Senator Foster Ogola. Yes.
affected. And because these are things we can not easily resolve here as their report that will make the bill to be accepted. I believe if we are pleased that they withdraw the bill, the report, and then go and recraft it. That's just what I'm saying.
No, I think what I want to suggest we do, there are three very key points that's been raised now. I was checking whether there were any more observations. There are three so far. The issue of registration at the state level, the issue of financial assistance, and the reduction of capital. My view, these three areas have been raised. When we get to the details, there is no way that we will be able to pass those three areas because of the fact that reservation has been made. And I believe that in us reviewing our KAMA, we cannot be able to achieve everything in one swipe. If we can achieve the other areas where we have consensus on, we move ahead and pass on those. And those three areas that people have reservations at, we should step those ones down. I think that's the, so if there are any other area that people feel strongly about, let's take reservations and comments now. So that by the time we go into clause by clause, we take note. So we've taken note of three particular areas that members have raised very valid points on. So if there's any other one, we'll take them. Yeah, Ben Bruce.
Mr. President, Ben Bruce, Bielsa East. The issue of decentralization and people being able to register their companies in state is a good one. It's simple. If you have a computer and it's all computerized, then there's no problem. For instance, driver's license. No, right now we have driver's license nationally. It doesn't make any sense. Each state should be able to issue their driver's license. And once it is computerized and you can check the names, it should be valid. So I don't think there's an issue to register companies in Bielsa and to check whether it's okay in Lagos. And the two other issues that have been raised, I think if they've been done in America and the other countries, then to me it's not valid. I mean, if you want to borrow money from your company, it's a public company and there are rules and regulations, it is fine. And secondly, if you want to reduce the time it takes to reduce your share capital and you don't want to go to court and there's a process that can be done, I don't see any problems with the three issues that have been raised. That's my contribution.
Any other comments outside these three areas? If not, leader, we'll go to committee of the whole and the clause by clause consideration.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. I move that the Senate resolves to committee of the board to consider the report clause by clause.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we move into committee of the whole to consider this report clause by clause. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yeah, they want to do with state commissions. We've found the other two. The one on reduction of capital is clause 132, and the one on financial assistance is clause 184. But they want to do with state commissions. Huh? All right, distinguished colleagues, we have 871 clauses. There are two issues that came during contributions. One, reduction of capital, that is clause 132, and then financial assistance, that is clause 184. Those are the two issues that when I get there, I would make a specific reference so that we can take those ones. So, those in favor that clause 1 to 100 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 101 to 131 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 132. On page 302. Page 302. Clause 132. Those in favor that clause 132 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. 132. That's reduction of shareholding, of share capital. No, registration means of reduction of share capital by a private company. 302, page 302, clause 1. Yeah, go ahead.
The 132, 1A, the amount should be they instead of he. Rejected. Okay.
Yep, okay. Those in favor that clause 132 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. Nays have it. Those in favor that clause 133 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it. Those in favor that clause 134 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. Nays have it. Those in favor that clause 135 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. Nays have it. Clause 136. Those in favor that clause 136 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. Nays have it. Clause 137. Those in favor that clause 137 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. Nays have it. Clause 138. Those in favor that clause 138 to 183 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 184 on page 417. Clause 184 and clause 417. Those in favor that clause 184 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. Nays have it. Clause 185. Those in favor that clause 185 to clause 199 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 200 to 299 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 300 to 399 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 400 to 499 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 500 to 599 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of clause 600 to 699 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of clause 700 to 799 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of clause 800 to 870 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that short title 871 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the 15th schedule stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that explanatory memorandum on page 1019 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Congrats.
This is the first. This is a world record for us.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report the wonderful progress we have made.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I'm only worried about the votes and proceeding tomorrow, the volume. Having said that, I rise to second the motion that will refer to plenary to report progress. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate and the Commission of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Trade and Investment on the Company and Allied Matters Act, Cap C20 LFN 2004, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2018 are approved as follows. Clause 1 to 100 as recommended, 101 to 131 as recommended, 132 to 137 as deleted, 138 to 183 as recommended, 184 as deleted, 185 to 300 as recommended, 301 to 870 as recommended, schedules 1 to 15 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the bill be now read the third time.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that this bill be now read a third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the bill not be read the third time say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990, Cap C 20, LFN 2004, and enact the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2018 to provide for the incorporation of the companies, limited liability partnership, limited partnership, registration of business names, together with the incorporation of trustees of certain communities, bodies, association, and for related matters 2018, third reading.
A bill for an act to repeal the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990 Cap C 20 LFN 2004 and enact the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2018 to provide for the incorporation of the companies, limited liability partnerships, limited partnerships, registration of business names, together with the incorporation of trustees of certain communities, bodies, associations, and for related matters 2018 is read the third time and passed. Distinguished colleagues, let me thank you all. Today is a significant milestone in our legislative agenda, the passage of KAMA, which is by far the biggest and one of the most far-reaching legislation ever passed in any legislature in our country. We now have put in place a regulatory framework, essentially to promote the ease of doing business and reduce regulatory hurdles. This is a pro-business law. This is a business law a bill that we have passed that is showing the audacity we have to move Nigeria businesses into a new era of success and development. The KAMA will represent one of the most important legislation. We're truly now, walking the talk to say that we're ready for business in Nigeria, to support small-scale industries, to promote innovation and encourage enterprise growth. It would not have been done with all the effort of all of my colleagues. I thank you for this great day in showing that truly the National Assembly is here in support of Nigerians to create an environment that enables them to be able to create business and seek new opportunities. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, having concluded today's proceedings on the order paper, I move that we stand down. I move that the Senate do adjourn till tomorrow, Wednesday, the 16th of May, 2018 at 10 a.m. prompt. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the Senate do now adjourn to tomorrow, Wednesday, the 16th day of May 2018. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do here adjourn to Wednesday, 16th May 2018, 10 a.m. say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is accordingly adjourned to Wednesday, 16th May 2018, 10 a.m. prompt.
was added to it that health workers, there is a resolution to urge them to get back to work, because even if this happens, they too are not out of the loop. So everybody should be on hand, and if it is for this to really show patriotism to our country, I think they should call off their strike.
Thank you so very much. It's been nice having you here on this platform.
Thank you.
Well, this is all we can take, but please do not go away. Do remember that unity in diversity will bring about the beauty and taste of our civilization. So let's shun violence and embrace peace. Show love to one another. Until we meet again, goodbye and God bless you.